Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to AEW Discussion. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss the August 16th edition of Dynamite. This week's show was the special Fight for the Fallen episode, so AEW packed the card with some big matches and moments. And with that, we're going to get into the action, starting with
the International Championship match, Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. So this week's episode Dynamite would kick off with this matchup, and had this match taken place 18 months ago, give or take, it would have been completely different. These guys would have been going for comedy spots and cheap pops, but instead this was a great showing between two guys who continue to learn, continue to grow, and continue to advance their characters. Yuta showed off the aggression that he has developed since joining the Blackpool Combat Club, while Cassidy continued to show why he is not only one of AEW's hottest stars, but perhaps one of AEW's best champions. Their unique styles meshed well enough to create a fun performance. Moxley and Cassidy only would make their presence felt, and as soon as Cassidy won the match, they would pounce on the champ and beat him down. This would cue an attempted save from the Best Friends, only for that to be thwarted, and then the Lucha Brothers would come out and this time successfully make the save with some help from Eddie Kingston, who also made his return to AEW and got quite the pop when he came out. And he also got the microphone to close it out and announced that at All In there would be a Stadium Stampede match. It would be Kingston, the Lucha Brothers, and the Best Friends taking on the BCC and whoever else they can find. So, Stadium Stampede, I mean, I get, in a way it is kind of fitting. All In is a big show, you're at a stadium, why not bring back the Stadium Stampede, and why not? So it should be a pretty entertaining match, and I'm quite curious to see who the other three guys are going to be to assist the BCC, because they haven't really been making a whole lot of friends recently, but I'm sure they could find some other bad guy types to team with. And then Chris Jericho's decision. What will Jericho do? Will he join the Don Callis family or not? Well, he said he did. And Callis was certainly excited that he did. However, there was, for whatever reason, a random picture in the ring, and that picture was Callis holding Jericho's severed head, and Jericho, upon seeing it, well, kind of went off on Callis, and then Callis went off on him, and then the two of them kind of got into it, not in a very physical manner. Takeshita came in with a chair, and those two kind of went at it before Will Ospreay would make a surprise appearance and lay out Chris Jericho. Sammy Guevara did run down with the baseball bat to make the save and drive those two guys off. So overall, well done segment, and it accomplished something big, and that was making Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay at All In official, and that should be a good match right there. The Gates of Agony versus Nick Wayne and Darby Allin, and this match followed the same pattern that most of Darby Allin's matches do. He and Wayne spent most of the match on defense before making a comeback and hitting some high impact moves, and that resulted in them getting the win. So yeah, that's all there really is to say there. Sting also had a nice little fun moment with Prince Nana. Granted, Nana didn't seem to enjoy it, but Sting seemed to be having fun. But yeah, this is just a continuation of the story between Allin, Wayne, A.R. Fox, Swerve Strickland. There is that coffin match at All In with Allin and Sting taking on Swerve and Fox. And then the show concludes with the Guns versus the Young Bucks, and give credit to the Guns. Not only has their entrance become one of the best in AEW, but as a tag team they've grown so much over the past year, and this match highlighted some of the ways that they have improved. This match and Cassidy versus Yuta were the two big highlights from the show. Austin and Colton put up a good fight, but weren't up to the challenge of beating former tag team champions in the Young Bucks, and after preventing the Guns from cheating, well, the Bucks would return the favor and use the same tactic to score the win, and this would cue Juice Robinson and Jay White to attack after the match, but FDR would show up and make the save and help Young Bucks clear the ring, and the show would end with FDR and the Young Bucks having a standoff. Yeah, so that was pretty much the end of the show. The Guns, I don't think they're involved at all. No, it's Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Takeshita taking on Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, and Bushi. So yeah, the Guns kind of odd team out at on the All-In card, it appears. Yeah, so nothing more to say there, so we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. In conclusion of this episode, not AEW's best, but it definitely had enough to keep the average fan invested throughout most of the night. Yuta and Cassidy put on a fun match to get the show going. The Bucks and Gunn closed the show with an energetic tag team bout, and also there was a themed to help promote the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There was a themed death match to help promote the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. I like video games, but I don't think that's one I'll be playing. And I don't know, that's to each his own sort of thing right there. Maybe it lived up to the hype, maybe it didn't. If you liked weird concepts and mayhem, this was probably pretty entertaining. I will admit, I'm just glad there wasn't thumbtacks. So, I can't hate it. Although, to be honest, I have no idea what I just watched. Although, to be honest, I was thoroughly confused as to what I was watching. It was a mess, but it wasn't the worst mess AEW's ever done when it comes to a hardcore match. And then there's also the segment of Jericho and Callis. Talked about that one being a good one and setting up a match between Jericho and Ospreay at All-In. So the All-In card continues to take shape, and it looks like a pretty good card so far. So AEW had a big assignment ahead of them, and it looks like they've taken it seriously. And it looks like they are going to deliver a solid show with, at least on paper, it looks like they're going to with that card that they have. And with that, I will conclude this episode of AEW Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.